What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer. I've been off for a while, but I'm back. UFC's heading overseas to Perth, Australia, Western Australia, for a card that's taking place, I think, 5:30 a.m. local time is when it kicks off, but over here it's normal time, so that's good. Card kind of sucks. UFC's been really dull lately, and it's been bumming me out. Too many people are getting involved with just trying to involve politics with MMA on both sides, and it's frustrating me. It's getting me down, but the fights don't get me down. That gets me up. So we're going to talk fights tonight. I don't know. I don't know. Episode might be a little just off all over the place. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. But we got Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes in what seems to be a number one contender fight at 205. And this fight does have stakes with being a number one contender fight. They're probably going to fight the winner of Ankalaev versus Pereira, depending how the Roundtree versus Yuri Prochazka fight goes. But we'll just get into it. If you haven't been here before, I break down the whole main card, give you bets at the end of the show. We bet 10 units a card, and year to date right now we're up, I think, 39.82 units. So we're not doing too bad. It's not a huge profit, but, we're doing all right. So we'll kick things off here with the main event. And what a story Dominic Reyes has, honestly. I mean, after losing to John Jones by decision in a super close fight that many people thought he won, he goes on to get knocked out in 3 consecutive fights. It looked all but over. He had issues with his brain. He had to get surgery. Now he's fine. Comes back, gets 3 knockouts in a row. Now, it's not against the best competition with Nikita Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Dustin Jacoby, but they're all pretty good strikers. And Dominic Reyes has shown a lot of grit in these fights. He's shown toughness. And in the Nikita Krylov fight, he just showed excellent boxing. He's looked great like a phoenix. He's risen from the ashes. On the other hand, you have Carlos Ulberg riding an 8-fight win streak. And now, he's got some knockout power, but what he seems to really want to do is sit on the outside and outpoint you, kickbox you the whole fight. Kind of a dull style, but it gets the job done. With his power, I could see him getting off to an early lead, 3 rounds to none, and then maybe going for a finish in the 4th or 5th, possibly getting it with Dominic Reyes just having been a little bit older, a little bit more miles on him in the big picture, or in the big title fights, in the big fights. He's got way more knockouts on his chin. But I could also see Dominic Reyes taking him to school, doing just giving him a vet lesson. I'm not sure how this fight's going to go down. It's really perplexing to me because I don't know what to expect from Reyes. I don't know if his chin's really back. If his chin's not back, I think Ulberg is going to get him out of there, but I still think it'll be round 4 or 5. But something's telling me that Reyes might just find his jab and might kind of mess Ulberg up the whole fight until he finds that knockout. So I'm not going to bet it. I mean, Ulberg's a pretty big favorite. I probably will. Actually, I am going to bet the over 2.5. I think it does go over 2.5, but you never know with Dom Reyes. You just never know if that chin's back or not. And Carlos Ulberg, he's good, but he also gasses in his fights. I don't know if he's been in any 5-round fights. If he has, it was versus Jan Blachowicz, but if memory serves correct, that was a 3-rounder, and yes, it was. So I don't know what to expect from either man. I'm not super pumped about it. Light heavyweight's in a weird spot for this to be a potential number 1 contender fight, but it is, so that's where we're at. But we'll move on. It's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a striking fight. It's either a flash knockout or a Dom Reyes piece you up. It could be a boring fight of Carlos Ulberg just jabbing and leg kicking the whole time and Dom Reyes trying to chase him. But Reyes cuts the octagon off well. I'm kind of talking myself into Reyes more and more, He cuts the octagon off well. He has good boxing, good counter shots, and if that chin is anywhere near back, he's got good power. His boxing could catch Ulberg. Ulberg, I mean, I know it was 9 fights ago, but the way he got knocked out by Kennedy and Nzechukwu, it wasn't pretty, and his defense isn't there really. His hands are down a lot. A guy like Dom Reyes, a sharpshooter, I could see him catching him. I could see him doing something, but I don't know. It's not an enticing fight to bet. The numbers aren't there for me. But we'll move on to the co-main event. And this is absolutely not worthy of a co-main event, especially for a card that's on the road all the way in Western Australia. And you're giving the people Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. I know Jimmy Crute is a hometown guy, but come on, man. Neither of these guys are all that. Ivan Erslan, he looks good coming off the bus. His skills look like he's there, but he just never seems to get the job done. He doesn't seem to have what it takes to crack the top 15. He's got good boxing, decent wrestling, but he just doesn't string it all together. Either low fight IQ or low urgency, I'm not sure, but he just doesn't seem to have it. And Jimmy Crute, I don't think he has it all that much either, but I think he has it more than Ivan Erslan. He's somewhat of a poor man's Dricus du Plessis. He's got great grappling, but no wrestling to get it there. He just kind of falls into you and hopes you go down, or hopes it goes down and he ends up on top, and he can submit you there. But it's tough going getting you down for him. And his striking is pretty abysmal. He just throws shit at the wall and hopes it lands. I could see something land, then I could see it. I could also see him death gassing and Erslan getting it done in the last 2 rounds, but this fight sucks also. I think Jimmy Crute's getting it done. He's a small favorite, and I think he gets it done probably by decision in an ugly fight, but neither of these guys are good. This should not be a co-main event. This card is absolutely terrible, really, and I don't like to dog cards. I don't like to go into cards and be like, man, this sucks, but this card really does suck. This card just is ass. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I want to be positive, but yeah. But being positive, I can be positive about this next fight with Jack Jenkins taking on Ramon Tavares. Now, this fight should be fun. Ramon Tavares has great boxing, super fast hands, but all he does is box. And I mean, all he does is box when he goes out there. He doesn't check kicks. He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't really have grappling defense. Jack Jenkins can do it all. He's not the best everywhere. He's got pretty good boxing, but where he strives is Muay Thai. He's got several leg kick TKOs. His most recent win over not Gilbert Burns, but his brother, Herbert. I think it's Herbert Burns. Regardless of the guy's name, finished him with leg kicks. Jack Jenkins has devastating leg kicks, and Ramon Tavares just refuses to check leg kicks or avoid them at all. I think Jack Jenkins is going to get the job done in round 2 or 3 with a leg kick TKO. I know it's a bold prediction, but it seems kind of foreseeable with the way that Ramon Tavares fights. Now, I say that, and I could also see a world where Ramon Tavares goes out there and lights Jenkins up with a boxing combination early before he gets the leg kicks off, before he gets damaged, and before he's kind of chasing Jenkins around as opposed to being able to find him with his jab and use his footwork to get to him. He'll be chasing him with damaged legs. If he can get him early, catch him early, Ramon Tavares could absolutely put him out of there just with a lightning fast combination. But I'm not sure that he's going to get it. I like Jack Jenkins here in round 2 or round 3, but I think this fight's going under 2.5 regardless. I think that's a safe bet in this. That's going to be one of my bets on this night of bad fights. But we'll move on. Another fight that could be exciting, could be kind of sad. We'll see. Jake Matthews taking on Neil Magny, perennial gatekeeper Neil Magny. And just when you think the guy's out of there, he knocks out Aleski dos Santos. I'm sure I missed a name there. He's got more names than that. Elizu Zaleski dos Santos is his name. Goodness. But knocks that guy out in his last fight out. He's taking on Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews seems to be putting it all together. He's a guy that has all the skills in the world. Came into the UFC very young, and he's put the miles in. He had some tough times. He's had some good times. He's on a bit of a streak right now, and he's got good wrestling, good grappling. He can really do it all, but where he seems to have the best skills is in his boxing, and he could absolutely knock Neil Magny out here. He's got good power. He's got good combinations and good defense when he's coming inside to get those boxing combinations off. But he's giving up a 7-inch reach advantage here, and Neil Magny does work his jab very well. He could keep Jake Matthews at range. He's got long legs to keep him at range with the kicks as well. And Jake Matthews has to be careful working his way on the inside because Neil Magny's nasty in the clinch. And he's going to either clinch you up and start throwing knees and elbows, cut you up, hurt you, wreck the body, or he's going to put you up against the cage and just stifle your offense until he can figure out where he wants to go. He's good at dragging people to the ground and getting ground and pound, getting rear naked chokes off of that, taking their back up against the cage when he drags them to the ground after you're tired, after he's worn you out from beating him up for 2.5 rounds. So he's a huge dog here, but I kind of like Neil Magny to get it done. It does throw me off a little bit that he won his last fight because I don't think he's going to be putting together anything super great, and he hasn't looked great in his last couple fights, but he's just durable. He's got super high fight IQ. Most knockouts in the welterweight division. I think most wins in UFC welterweight history. And it's weird to see him continue to add to that lead in the form that he's at, but I think against Jake Matthews, a guy who, while I said he's been putting it all together, I also think that Jake Matthews has been inconsistent at times, and this could be a fight where we see him a little inconsistent. He might have trouble finding the range, might panic, might shoot some takedowns from places you shouldn't be shooting takedowns from far away. We've seen that before with Jake Matthews. And Neil Magny's long. He could wrap up a choke, an anaconda, or a Darce. So I like Neil Magny here. I don't know if I'll bet it because I don't know if I like him that much. But 7-inch reach, something's just telling me Magny might get the job done and spoil the party for the Australians here. But we'll move right along and get this card over with. Goodness gracious. Justin Tafa on another main event. What are we doing here? He's taking on Louis Sutherland out of LFL. Huge fan of LFL. They're open air fighting, LFL 18, where they were all scaffolded up. Super cool. Fun levels fighting league is what it's called. There's levels to this. It's amazing. Great seeing representation from that organization. They're finally breaking through, only with about 8, or I think they have 19 events now. Finally getting some fighters in the UFC, and Louis Sutherland is a dog. The dude's he's a war pig. I wish I still had the graphic to throw up there, but dude goes out there, he throws bombs. He's got good takedowns too, but he throws bombs. Sometimes leaves his chin in the air, but fun fighter to watch. Great guy to match up with Justin Tafa, who also throws bombs, leaves his chin in the air, and is susceptible to get knocked out. He has 0 takedown defense. So Louis Sutherland, if he goes for the takedowns, could see an early finish with ground and pound or with a rear naked choke, something along those lines, because the Tafa brothers just don't wrestle. But this fight's probably gonna be a real quick one. 2 heavy dudes swinging leather. Whoever lands first is getting the knockout. Tafa could do it. He hits hard as hell, but I like Louis Sutherland here because of the chance that he does get the takedown and does get the ground and pound. I think that'll exhaust Tafa as well if he does try to get back to his feet. It's going to take a lot of energy to get a guy like Louis Sutherland off of you. The guy's relentless. The guy's got a pretty high motor for such a big heavyweight. So I like Louis Sutherland here, and I think that he's just, with a 50-50 in the stand-up and 100-0 in the ground game, I like Louis Sutherland. And then that brings us to the curtain jerker for the main card. Tom Nolan taking on Charlie Campbell. And this is a fight that's happening. Tom Nolan might have the advantage technically in the stand-up. He's going to be 6'3" to Charlie Campbell's listed at 6 foot, probably closer to 5'10", but we'll leave that to wherever. Equal reach, but Tom Nolan should be able to use range better, being the taller fighter. Tom Nolan has a bit of a glass chin, and Charlie Campbell does a really good job of one thing, and that's crashing the pocket. I mean, he's good at other things. Don't get me wrong. He's got good striking, good wrestling, but he crashes the pocket, can land some short strikes to knock you out, or when he's crashing the pocket, he can also get a takedown from there. And Tom Nolan's not the best on the ground. Charlie Campbell almost submitted Trevor Peek. I like Charlie Campbell here. I think this fight's a coin flip, though, because I don't know a whole lot about either guy as far as just the level of competition they've faced. Charlie Campbell's coming off of a TKO over Alex Reyes, who's not that great. Tom Nolan took him to the decision. I know MMA math doesn't mean anything, but I like Charlie Campbell here as a slight dog. Not betting him because I'm not confident in a lot of these fighters on this card. I have more bets on the prelims. Some of the prelims interest me more, with the Oban Elliott fight, with the Andre Petrosky fight. I like Andre Petrosky. Dude's a donk. He's fun to watch fight, even though some of them are boring. I like the guy's energy. I like his energy. You got Navajo, Sterling. And those 3 fighters will lead us to our bets. That'll be my first bet. It's a parlay with Oban Elliott, Andre Petrosky, Navajo, Sterling. 2 units. It's about plus 330. It gives us 8.16 units back. And then we're going to go Jack Jenkins, Ramon Tavares, under 2.5, plus 135. 2 units on that gives us 4.7 back. Colby Thickness, sparring partner of Alexander the Great Volkanovski. He's taking on Jacoby Musasa, I believe is his name. Guy's a bit of an overhyped prospect. He was a minus 800 favorite in his UFC debut that he lost. And I just think Thickness is going to be better. He's going to be a better grappler. And in the striking, I think it's pretty even. So Thickness, 2 units on him at money line, plus 124, 4.48 units back. And finally, we got Dom Reyes, Carlos Ulberg, over 2.5 rounds. 4 units at plus 120 gives us 8.8 units back. So that's the bets. I don't know how much I like them. We're up 39.82 units on the year, but we could easily be only up 29.82 by the time next week rolls around. Before I let you go, in other news around the UFC, around MMA in general, Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev is off. Rafael Fiziev had to pull out with a knee injury, and he's going to be replaced by Mateusz Gamrot. So we went from a fun striking fight to now what should be a very fun grappling fight. I'm not as pumped about it. I'm not a big Gamrot fan, but Charles Oliveira has nasty submissions, and I think that Gamrot may get caught up in one. That should be a fun one. Then Conor McGregor, he's announced his return is going to definitely be at the White House, he says. How much do we trust him? I don't know. Dana White says it too, but McGregor says it's going to be against Chandler. We'll have to wait and see. Fight bangs if it does. I can't wait. I don't know where McGregor's at in his career, but Chandler always has fun fights, so that should be fun. Other than that, UFC's been a little dull lately. As I said at the beginning of the show, it sucks. Kind of sucks the life out of it for me. The plug and play model might have something to do with it. All the negativity in the world right now. It's just not great. PFL, though, they announced a card, and they have some fights coming on this weekend. They got PFL Europe, PFL MENA, but they announced their card. Oh, I forget when it even is, but let's see here. They don't have it on ESPN's website. It's going to be headlined by Chris Cyborg. She's got a fight on there, and then so does Renan Ferreira versus Vadim Nemkov. I don't have it pulled up here, but yeah, that's going down. October 3rd, we got Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Paul Hughes, Corey Anderson versus Dovlet Yagshimeredov. These are all championship fights, both championship fights, I should say. And then next weekend, we get... Is that next weekend, October 4th? Or do we have another week off from UFC? Oh, yeah, no. Next weekend is October 4th. Goodness gracious. I'm all over the place. But we got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2. Pereira, plus 185 dog, coming back for his title. Everybody in the world wants him to win. We do not want a Magomed Ankalaev title reign. He's just, not that he's a bad fighter. He's just a boring fighter. And his striking's boring. His grappling's boring. He's just a boring guy. So that's all I really got for you. I don't know what else to say. Follow us on X at Blood Beer MMA. Catch us anywhere you get your audio only. Sorry if the energy's not there. Sorry if this episode's just not what it used to be. UFC sucked the life out of me a little bit. We're gonna come back. I mean, I know the Paramount deal is gonna be good for at least a while for the fans. No more pay-per-views. It's gonna be good. Good stuff. We just need more stars in the UFC. It's not a star problem. It's everybody seems the same. Everybody's got the same personality. Everybody says the same things on the mic. We have very few people that differentiate themselves. And when they do, they either get ostracized by the fans and super cheered when they lose. The fighting nerds. You look at Bryce Mitchell, different story. He was a little more controversial. But the fighting nerds, Pereira, same thing. When he lost, people were like, oh, fraud check, O'Malley. All these people that make themselves stars, make them what you want them to be. You want the next Conor McGregor. You want this crazy killer. You want these crazy entertaining guys. But then when they lose, the fans shit on them. And it's like, man, you can't do that because then it just kills the sport. We can't turn into boxing where one loss kills you. We can't do that. And that's another, it's just so much negativity. And I was negative a little bit in this episode. I'm being negative now about the outlook on the sport, but we got to look at the positives. I mean, Alex Pereira is 12-3 and most of his fights are title fights. You got a guy like Josh Emmett taking on Yusuf Zalal. Josh Emmett's a fighter. Dude just goes out there and tries to fight. But a guy like Yusuf Zalal is going to be on his bike running for all 3 rounds. It's just, that's the kind of stuff that rubs people the wrong way. And Josh Emmett will probably lose that fight on a boring decision. And people will say Josh Emmett's washed because he's 40 years old because he lost. But it's not as much that as just like the matchmaking in UFC's gotten a little bit bad lately. They're not giving us the fun fights. A lot of the fights are passover fights like Yusuf Zalal versus Josh Emmett. You got Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer, might be a fun one. But, I mean, we don't get to see a guy like Atiba Gauthier fight someone fun. He's fighting Ozzy Diaz, who's a good fighter, but they set Atiba Gauthier up to just knock people out. Let's get him a top 15 guy. Really test this dude. I know he's young, but let's just do fun stuff. Let's do fun stuff. Get boring people out of the UFC. I don't know. Start incentivizing a little more. The $50,000 just isn't doing it for people, I guess. I don't know. I rambled and ranted. I don't even know if I'll keep that part in here, but that's all I got for you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt with Blood and Beer.